Philippe Saad was born in 1953 and grew up in the village of Turaan, located on the way between Nazareth and the Sea of Galilee. According to tradition, this is a place where the disciples picked heads of grain and ate, angering the Pharisees because it was done on the Sabbath. Jesus said to them, "The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath." When Philippe was a young child in 1956, the Baptist ministry in Turaan was renewed through the initiative of a young man named Ibrahim Sim'an. The ministry began with Sunday school meetings in the house of Saad Abu Fahim, who is Philippe's father. The meetings later moved to another home, and eventually, the Baptist Convention in Israel purchased land and built a church on it in 1963. Philippe grew up in an atmosphere that welcomed the Baptist work, and he decided to dedicate his life to Christ in the Baptist church in Turaan during his high school years. He was later baptized by missionary Ray Register, and he was the first person Ray baptized upon arriving in the country. After finishing high school at the Baptist school in Nazareth, Philippe attended the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and earned a bachelor's degree in Arabic, Islamic studies, and medieval history. Upon graduating, he worked as an Arabic language teacher at the Baptist school in Nazareth for a few years. And in 1981, he married Violette Khouri, a fellow teacher from Turaan. Philippe had a deep desire in his heart to serve the Lord. He began assisting missionary David Grosclose in Cana of Galilee, where he served and translated at the Baptist Church. In 1981, David left for the United States for a year, and Philippe took over leadership of the church during his absence. When David returned, he saw the great success Philippe had achieved with the youth in Cana, and he decided to hand over the church leadership to Philippe, who continued leading the church until 1984. On April 13, 1982, Philippe wrote a letter to the Joint Work Committee of the Baptist Convention and the Association of Baptist Churches, expressing his certainty about his calling to ministry. He wrote, "After nearly a year of the Lord's call to full-time ministry in Cana of Galilee, and after this great privilege of being called a servant before the Lord and people, I am fully convinced that the Lord has chosen me and my wife for this great mission in our land. After continuous prayers and the Lord's clear guidance, we dedicate our lives to the service until we meet Him there." In 1984, Philippe traveled with his family to the United States after receiving a scholarship to study theology at Mid-America Baptist Theological Seminary in Tennessee. He regularly attended services at Bellevue Church in Memphis, then led by Pastor Adrian Rogers, which is one of the largest Baptist churches in the United States, and he formed a friendship with Pastor Rogers. Philippe returned to the country in 1988, and in 1989 he was ordained as a Baptist pastor. He was considered for ministry in Nazareth and Jerusalem, but the Lord had other plans in Haifa. Haifa is one of the largest and most important cities in the country. It is located on the Mediterranean coast and has a population of about 300,000 people. Haifa is strategically and economically significant due to its vital port, industrial facilities, offices, and 2 universities. It is also home to about 35,000 Arab citizens. Although the Baptist ministry began in Haifa in the 1930s, it was intermittent until the late 1980s. In 1989, the small Baptist church in Haifa invited Philippe to become its pastor. As soon as he arrived, Philippe began organizing pastoral visits and delivering sermons, which led to the growth of the church. Membership increased to over 60 people in a short time. Due to the limited space, the church moved in 1990 from the small Baptist house on Haganim Street to the Lutheran Church Hall of Beit Eliyahu for meetings. In the same year, Philippe also took responsibility for the ministry in Acre, in addition to pastoring the church in Haifa. Acre was familiar to him as he had supported the ministry there in the early 1980s while leading Cana of Galilee Baptist Church. Philippe served in Acre until 1996, holding meetings in the old building near the seashore. In 1996, Philippe was elected president of the Association of Baptist Churches in Israel and served until the year 2000. This was a period of transition, as the American-led Baptist Convention began to gradually withdraw from direct involvement with the local churches, which presented some challenges. Philippe led the Association of Baptist Churches wisely during this phase and sought to establish direct relationships with Baptist churches abroad. A group of British pastors initiated a partnership between churches in England and Baptist churches in the country. A non-profit organization was established in Britain to twin churches between the two countries, and this twinning continues to this day. In 2011, the Baptist churches celebrated 100 years of Baptist ministry in the Holy Land. Pastor Philippe played a role in this celebration, sharing a message at the international conference organized by the Association of Baptist Churches, and participated in the honoring ceremonies. He himself was among those honored as well. That same year, the Haifa Baptist Church renovated the old Baptist house and moved back into it, continuing its meetings there, where they still meet today. Throughout his ministry, Philippe loved the land of Christ because he loved Christ. He was passionate about visiting historical and archaeological sites, using every opportunity to share the love of Christ with those on tours. Philippe believed in the unity of the body of Christ in the land among Arab, Jewish, and expatriates believers. He always sought to build bridges and encourage believers from different backgrounds to carry Christ's message in the land of Christ. Haifa Baptist Church was a refuge for many foreigners who moved to the city for work or study, and Philippe's wife, Violette, tirelessly translated the service into English, even if there were only a few attendees needing translation. Their home was always open for house meetings and for hosting church members and guests. Philippe also supported Filipino and Spanish groups living in the country, encouraging them to establish home churches and offering them practical support. In addition to his rich ministry, Philippe and Violette raised a beautiful family of 3 daughters and 3 sons: Nardine, Narjis Sharon, Butros, Nasrin, Paul, and John, along with 7 grandchildren: Phoebe, Andrew, Philippe, Adrian, Christian, Eliana, and Leah Ann. In 2024, Philippe went to be with the Lord, having faithfully completed his calling, as he expressed in his letter to the Baptist Convention and the Association of Baptist Churches. Our prayers and hopes are that the Lord will guide you and us so that we may work under His direction to win souls and glorify His wonderful name among the multitudes of these areas with their diverse affiliations. Thus, Philippe met the Lord, having fought the good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith, receiving the crown of righteousness that the righteous judge has prepared for him and for all those who love his appearing.